everyone, welcome back. Today we're trying new makeup. I am so behind in terms of makeup trying. I have so many things that I've either purchased or I've gotten in PR that I still have not tried. So we're gonna try as much of it today as I can. I have the Nikki brushes. I still haven't tried them. I have the YSL face palette. This is the Golden Oasis face palette. I have some PR from Make Beauty. I have a new Fenty primer. I have so many things that I want to try for you, and I can't try them all in this video, but we're going to try as many as possible. So that is what we're doing today. I hope you're excited. These are always so much fun to film. But if you're new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty content here on my YouTube channel. I would love for you to stick around and subscribe. But let's go ahead and get started with the makeup. All right, I just applied my SPF and it's been about 5 minutes. So let's go ahead and start with the makeup. We are going to do something today that I try not to do, which is try a new primer and a new foundation at the same time. But I've been holding on to this primer for a while, and I need to just use it, because if I keep waiting for the perfect opportunity, that's probably never going to come. So we're just going to try it today. But this is new from Fenty. This is their Grip Trip Mattifying and Blurring Primer. So they recently came out with 2 primers. This is the more mattifying one, and then there's one that's more hydrating. That one is purple. The matte one is the pink one. But it's very interesting. So it's like a 2-phase or a biphase, I think is what they're called, primer. So the pink stuff, I think, is the mattifying part, I think. And then the clear around it is the gripping part. And it's been a while since I've tried a new primer, and it's been a really long time since I've tried a matte primer. So I'm not going to put this everywhere. I'm just going to kind of focus it right here where I have majority of my pores. And this is also where I get the most shiny, if I do get shiny throughout the day. If you're new to my videos, I don't really have oily skin. I would say my skin is pretty normal, but I am sometimes a little bit oily in the T-zone. Just kind of depends. So I'm gonna pump and see, like, that's probably too much. So it comes out clear, and I'm hoping this does not interfere with the sunscreen that I paired it with, but we'll just have to see. It doesn't feel like a gripping primer to me. It doesn't feel like the Milk Hydro Grip or the e.l.f. Power Grip. It feels kind of like a gel consistency, but it feels honestly pretty hydrating for a mattifying primer, which is interesting. But I'm not really feeling that like tacky feel that you get from primers like this sometimes. All right, I guess I'll just put it all over the T-zone and kind of avoid this area. So that was like 2 pumps. I don't know why I put 2 pumps on my hand. Probably not going to use the rest of what I have on this hand because I really don't want to overdo it. Maybe it has to like dry down a little bit for like the grip and the mattifying, but I'm not seeing a lot of that right away. Okay, so it's been like 3 minutes. Okay, and now I definitely think it did mattify pretty well in the T-zone. I don't look nearly as shiny right here as I did earlier. The SPF I used is the one from Kiehl's, the Better Screen, and that one is really, really hydrating. So I definitely think it took that down quite a bit right here. I mean, there might be a little bit of tackiness, but I'm not feeling much of like the grippiness. And it does say this is a gripping primer, so I don't know about that. I do think it's mattifying though. I haven't really seen anyone review these either, the new primers from Fenty, but I will be curious how this will pair with our foundation today, because this foundation is new to me. It's not brand new anymore, but I have always wanted to try this. This is the Hourglass Illusion Foundation, the Luminous Glow Foundation. So this came out when I was pregnant, and I didn't get it just because I was not using chemical SPFs during pregnancy, just a personal choice that I made. But now I want to try it because this was one that I really wanted to try at the time when it came out. I love Hourglass in general, and I'm excited to try this. So this is a luminous foundation. It does have SPF. The SPF is SPF 30, and I have the shade number 6. So the packaging is actually, I think it's exactly like the tinted moisturizer from Hourglass. It's just gold instead of white, but I think this is the exact same packaging. Okay, so this is kind of, I was expecting it to be more liquidy. It's not really, it's more almost like a whipped texture. I don't know why I expected it to be really like runny almost. I don't really know why, that's kind of what I thought. But anyways, this is the shade number 6. And let's hope the primer does not interfere. This is why I typically don't use a new primer and a new foundation, but sometimes you just gotta do it. So I'm gonna blend this in with my 115 from BK Beauty. It's a much thicker formula than I was thinking it was gonna be. Okay, so there is that side kind of blended out there. That was not a ton of product. It looks like, I would say like a light medium coverage right now. I think I'm just gonna grab the rest from the back of my hand and apply this way on this side. I didn't pump out, or I didn't squeeze out much product at all. So we may need to use a little bit more because I already kind of got everything off the back of my hand. Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit more because that, like I said, was not very much product. This is almost like a moussey texture, this foundation. All right, so I just got a little bit more, and I'm gonna see if this builds up the coverage at all. I think we got a little bit more product on this side than we did over here. So I'm gonna add a little bit more. I definitely don't think it looks extremely glowy on first impression. I thought it would look a little bit glowier. I'm not surprised it doesn't in the T-zone because we did use that primer, but overall, I don't think it looks extremely glowy. All right, so there is the foundation over the primer. So initial thoughts, I would say initially more of light medium coverage. When I added a little bit more, I would say we're closer to a standard medium coverage. I don't know that I would say it's like a full medium. You can still definitely see my skin through it, which is not a bad thing at all. I'm not seeing much from the primer though, to be honest, because even in like this area where I applied the majority of the primer, I'm not seeing like any real noticeable smoothing or blurring effect. I did think my skin looked a little bit more matte after I applied it, like I said earlier, but with the foundation on top, I'm not really seeing much of anything unless it's taking down the shine from that foundation quite a bit. This is my first time using it, so I'm not sure. But, you know, there's definitely still some glow from the foundation. Like you can see, earlier I said it didn't look that glowy. It definitely does. It's not like an oily looking glowy, but I definitely do see the glow now. Not sure about the primer. The foundation is pretty. I'm not like blown away by it at this point, but let's do some color corrector. I do not have a new color corrector to try. So let me grab one that I have in my drawer. We'll just use the Kosas one and cover up these dark circles that I have. This is the shade Illusion. I'm gonna apply a little bit more today than I typically would. Let's see, what should I use? I also have the Nikki LaRose brushes right here. I don't think any of these brushes I would really use for foundation. You could maybe use this one for concealer. This is the N19. I'm probably gonna save this for the actual concealer or maybe for powder under the eyes, I'm not sure. All right, so we'll use this brush from Nikki from her first set, the N14. This is definitely the brush I used the most from her original set. What a difference. What a difference. Okay, moving into concealer, I do have a new one. This was sent to me from Make Beauty. I have never tried anything from this brand, so when they reached out and asked if they could send some things, I was really excited because I've always been curious about this brand. They also sent their tinted moisturizer, which obviously we didn't use today, but I'll use that in another video. They sent a brow pencil that we are going to use today. They sent one of their eyeshadows, which we might use unless I use something else I have out here for eyes. I haven't decided yet. And then a cream blush as well. But we are going to use the concealer today. So this is the Skin Mimetic concealer in the shade number 3, Light C. So, oh, this is like really nice packaging. I think this is glass. Yeah, that's really nice. It's very heavy. Kind of looks like something you would see from Victoria Beckham to me. I don't know why. That's just kind of what it reminds me of. And let me see. Oh, so this is a doe foot applicator, obviously, but it's like a smaller, kind of more of a triangular doe foot applicator. It has that opening in the middle. I don't know if you can see. Again, this is shade light number 3. Let's see what it says here. This concealer provides buildable medium coverage with a radiant finish. Let's test it out. Like I said, I've never tried anything from this brand. I've seen it quite a bit on TikTok. Okay, I'm gonna start with this because I have no idea how much to apply. So we'll start with that. It feels like a pretty thin formula to me, so I'm guessing a little bit probably doesn't go a long way just based on the texture of it, but I could be wrong. All right, now the question is, do I use this brush? I think Nikki uses this sometimes for concealer. I also don't know how I feel about this shape for concealer though. Maybe we should try it though. All right, I'm gonna go in. This is the new N19 from Nikki LaRose and BK Beauty. So it's a very dense triangular brush. It's quite large for the under eyes, but it definitely does fit under the eyes because of this like pointy end right here. Oh yeah, it does fit really nicely under the eyes. It's very, very dense. So that might be something that you love or maybe not, but it definitely does fit pretty nicely under the eyes, even though it's on the larger side. I do think this would be great for under eye powder though. And I'm sorry to use these brushes right now. I know they sold out in like 6 hours, which is really amazing. I'm not surprised at all. Nikki is just such a gem. I've never met her. She has no idea who I am, but I think that she just seems like such a kind person. And I'm so happy for her, and her channel has just blown up and done really well. And I don't know, it just makes me happy to see somebody that seems so genuine and kind have success. I love to see that on YouTube. So I'm very happy for her. But anyway, they did say these are restocking mid-October, and it's October 14th when I'm filming this. So I'm assuming they're coming back any day now. All right, so there it is. You know, I actually don't hate that for under eye concealer. It's very different than what I'm used to. I usually use something a little bit smaller, but you know, I don't hate it. Okay, that concealer is I would say, like, that's not medium coverage to me. I would say that little bit of product would be like a light medium at the most. Just my opinion, because I have color corrector on underneath and I can tell just by looking at it under my eyes that it's definitely not a full medium coverage to me. Let's add a little bit more and see what happens. I like the way it feels though. It feels very hydrating, very, very thin. So if you like something that's lighter weight, you might really like this. Let's see, I'm gonna take a little bit right here as well. I will say the shade match looks really, really good. And again, this is shade light number 3. It's actually not warm toned, which is amazing. I let the concealer sit a little bit this time. Wanted to see if it's one of those formulas that gets a little bit more in terms of coverage if you let it dry down. It doesn't really look like it's that type of formula to me, actually. It's very, very light. It kind of reminds me of the Armani Luminous Silk Concealer, if you're familiar with that one, which I know a lot of people love that concealer. So if that is you, this really reminds me of that. I think this one actually might have just a smidge more coverage than the Armani Luminous Silk Concealer, but just the overall look, finish, the viscosity, all of it kind of reminds me of that one. If anything, this one is probably even more lightweight than that one. Initial thoughts, I really like the way that concealer looks actually. It is more of a radiant finish, I would agree. And it's sitting really nicely on my under eyes and on top of that foundation. I'm guessing because they have similar finishes. So that's probably one of the reasons, but I do like it. Coverage level is, I don't know that I would call this a medium coverage. I still think it's more of a light medium, unless you like really, really applied quite a bit of it. I don't know that you're gonna get like true medium from this. However, if you are someone that likes something really light and you're not looking for a ton of coverage, you might really like this because it looks beautiful. I really like the look of it for sure. All right, now here is where we have a decision to make. I have two different face palettes and I don't know which one to use. This is when I wish y'all could talk to me through the camera and you could tell me what you want to see the most, because I can't use it all on my face at the same time. But I have the new Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look in a palette. I purchased this because I have one of her Instant Look palettes from a few years ago. It's pretty old now and I love that palette. I love it so much I've never been able to get rid of it because it's just, I just love that palette. So I want to know how this compares to that one, but I also have this YSL palette and I really want to use this as well. I'm thinking we're going to use the YSL palette. I'm guessing this is what y'all are going to want to see the most. We will obviously try the Charlotte palette at some point, but I'm thinking the YSL for right now. But before we do that, I don't have a cream bronzer and I kind of want to use some cream bronzer today. So let me grab one quickly. So I'm thinking we're just going to use this one. This is the NARS cream bronzer in Laguna 01. The reason I want to use this one specifically is because I really want to try this brush and I'm thinking this is going to work the best for a cream bronzer like this. This is the N18. It's called the Ultimate Contour. So I'm going to try this out. So I'm just kind of getting some all on the brush here. And then, like I always do, I'm gonna kind of tap off on the back of my hand so we don't hopefully get too much product. And then I'll just start tapping. I have never really used this style of brush before, so I don't really know what to expect from it. Okay. I think Patrick Ta actually makes a brush that's similar to this, or one of the ends of his one of his brushes kind of looks like this. Not exactly the same, but similar. So yeah, you get a very precise contoured look with this, which I don't do a ton of that kind of, contouring, but I mean, you could definitely get more of a natural application too, because that looks pretty soft. It's not anything like crazy, crazy harsh. This feels so odd, like applying cream bronzer with something like this. I guess it's just because I've never used anything like this for it, but I did want to try it. I think you could probably use this for powder bronzer, I guess, but I'm guessing it'd probably be easiest with a cream. So it's definitely, I mean, you can definitely get more of a like soft application from it. It definitely feels a little bit big for my face. But again, that could just be that I'm not used to the style of brush, so it just kind of feels weird. I always feel like that with brushes. Sometimes you have to really use them and kind of get used to a new brush. Do you know what I'm sure y'all know what I mean. Because when you get used to using a certain brush for a certain step in your makeup, sometimes if you switch it up, it can kind of feel a little bit jarring. But I can appreciate that this would give you that really cut, like contoured look if that's what you were looking for. All right, let's just move into this YSL palette because I have a feeling y'all probably want to know about this. Okay, I tried not to buy this, okay? But I mean, let's be real. I kind of bought it for the packaging. This is that beautiful YSL compact that has like the quilted, it's not real leather. I mean, it's plastic, but it has the quilted design, which I really love. So yeah, part of it is just because it's pretty. Did I need this? 110% no. I bought it so I could tell you if you need it or not. I think this sold out on Sephora, but last time I checked it was back in stock at Sephora. Who knows if it'll be in stock by the time the sale comes around? I don't know, but let's swatch it. I did not see it in person. I ordered mine. All right, so there are some swatches. So we've got that gold, or not gold, we've got the coral blush, the kind of like icy pink highlight, and then the brighter like magenta-y blush. Okay, so there's the first row. So we've got the coral blush, the highlighter in the middle, and then the deeper blush right here. The highlighter feels very interesting. It's kind of, I don't know how to explain it. I had to rub quite a bit to get that off, like to actually get the product. I'm like having a very hard time describing this. You're just not getting a ton of pigment, or a ton of the product, I guess I should say. It feels almost kind of slippery on the top, like you're not really getting in there and getting a ton of the product. Sorry, I hope that's not confusing, but it has a different feel to it. I've never tried a YSL highlighter. I've tried the blushes in this formula and I love them. Let's swatch the other side. So there they are, my finger. So the gold highlight, obviously that's too deep for my skin tone on my face, but I was thinking I could try using that on the eyes or something. So there's the rest of the swatches. So there's like the gold champagne highlight, the pink blush, which I believe is number 44 from the individual blushes, which I already have. I have the individual one of that, and then that's the gold highlighter right there. So this one right here looks a little bit different. Like you can kind of see the glitter flecks in this one. These two feel more smooth. All right, before we apply that palette, I'm taking just a little bit of setting powder, just kind of going over very, very lightly this area, just to make sure that these powders can go on well. I always get nervous when I apply a powder directly to something that has not been set at all. Since all we have are creams here, I just kind of want to get a little bit of something before we apply. So hopefully nothing goes on patchy. Well, let's go ahead and apply this. I'm thinking maybe we'll use this brush from the Nikki set. This is the N20. So this is called the Ultimate Diffuser. So it's kind of looks like a stippling brush. It's got pretty long bristles though. It's pretty fluffy, but it's not dense at all. It has pretty long bristles. So I'm hoping maybe this will apply these powders kind of sheerly so we can kind of build them up. All right, so what I'm thinking here is we'll first do, I guess, a little bit of this pink right here. Now this is pretty deep for my skin tone, so I'm gonna hope that this applies well with this style of brush, because I don't want to go overboard. There's quite a bit of kick up in the pan also. I'm going to kind of go like this on the palm of my hand and try to get off the excess before we go on. Obviously, if you have a deeper skin tone than me, you wouldn't have to be super careful with this, but for me, this is a pretty pigmented blush, so I just don't want to go overboard. Okay. So yeah, you can totally get a more diffused application of that shade with this brush. I like this already. I'm thinking this is maybe going to be a favorite from this set from Nikki for sure. I like this kind of brush for cheek products, especially blushes. If you're somebody that gets nervous with blush about it being too much or too pigmented, something like this is really good for that. You don't really have to worry too much about going in really hard with a lot of pigment because there's not much there's no density really to this brush at all. So there is that brighter color, which, I mean, that looks beautiful to me. That shade is pink, but it's kind of like, I don't know how I would describe, it's kind of like a raspberry color on my skin tone at least, but very pretty. All right, let's do The other side. I think this is probably key unless you're going for a lot of pigment. If you have a lighter skin tone, I would kind of do that. Kind of like I recommend doing with the Patrick Ta blushes, especially his powders. They can be very, very pigmented if you go in really, really heavy with them. Very, very pretty though. So this is this is the matte formula from YSL. So there is no shimmer in this blush. However, I have some glow on my face, so you're still gonna see some glow. All right, I'm gonna go in with the highlighter now, and I think I'm gonna use the mini version of this brush. So this is the one we just used for the blush. This is the N20, this is the N20S, so I'm assuming that means small, maybe? But they're basically the same brush, it's just this one is smaller. You could also probably use this for the under eyes as well. We didn't do that today, but you probably could. Probably use this for eyeshadow too. This is a very versatile brush. Let's do this one that looks kind of glittery, or it has the most noticeable glitter in it, so we can actually see what it looks like. It has like gold and pink shimmer in it. I don't know if you'll be able to see that like on the camera. I guess you can, right there. So there it is on my cheeks. That was not very much of it at all. So it's pretty, but yes, you can absolutely see little pieces of pink glitter right there. I mean, it's not the most glittery thing that I've ever seen, but you can definitely see glitter particles there. So if you know you would not like that, then you probably would not love this highlighter. Do a little bit over here. I always like a little bit of highlighter on my nose. I know some people really hate that, but I always kind of like it. All right, now I kind of want to use a little bit of this highlighter also. It's just hard to show you all of it so you can really see when you apply it all together. You know what I mean? Let's take another brush. I'm gonna take, this is not a Nikki brush. This is the F03. Who remembers the F03 from Sigma? This used to be my go-to concealer brush. But I'm gonna take a clean one of these. These are actually meant for highlighter. And I guess we'll just take a little bit of the champagne highlighter up here. I probably would not do this and apply both at the same time, but just for the sake of the video, hopefully you can kind of, oh yeah. So that's very, very blinding. Like, do you see that? I definitely prefer that formula over, or maybe they're the same formula, but they don't feel the same as that first highlighter that we used. That one feels much creamier. This one, like I said, has the shimmer and it looks not as creamy. It looks kind of like flaky shimmer to me. Okay, let's do the other side and apply that same highlighter to this same like upper cheek area. Now we do have the number 44 blush right here. I have used that many times in videos, so I'm not going to add more of that because we really don't need a ton of blush. Now the coral blush, I could apply a little bit of it, but I feel like we really don't need it with this pink. I guess I'll take a little bit of it, but you can see a little bit. You get quite a bit on the brush. But I know somebody really wants to see the coral. I don't know how much of it you're going to be able to see with everything else though. So we'll add a little bit of that kind of back here, I guess. I know this looks very intense. I would not wear it like this, but just for the sake of the video, I want you to see. I love the brush for this though. So that color on my skin tone at least is much lighter, not as vibrant, so I wouldn't have to be as careful with it. It just looks more vibrant because we've got the other pink blush on there too. So let's take my foundation brush right here and just kind of diffuse it a little bit because we got a lot going on the cheeks. Also, keep in mind, if you ever go overboard with something on your cheeks or anywhere on your face, but especially on your cheeks, you can always take your foundation brush or your sponge or even a powder brush. Like this is the brush we used for a little bit of powder before we applied those. and it will kind of just lightly kind of take it down a little bit. So keep that in mind. Yeah, so this palette is pretty. I don't know, well, let me say this. It's very nice. It's very luxurious, but this formula I'm not a huge fan of. This highlighter right here with the glitter in it. I don't know. I wish it was this same formula of the other two highlighters and didn't have that piecey glitter in it. But initial thoughts is it's pretty. I love the YSL powder formula overall. And actually I really like this bright pink blush. I did apply it more sparingly for my skin tone, but I think the tone of it is really pretty. We did not use this, obviously, because that's way too dark for my skin tone. We will maybe try to incorporate it on the eyes somehow. I do actually have a new brow product. It's been quite a while since I've tried a new brow product. So this is from Make, and it's their Infinite Brow Nano Pencil. And this is the shade Cool Brown. Oh, so it actually looks like it's gonna be like the Kosas Brow Pop Nano, which I actually just used mine up. And I really enjoyed that brow pencil actually, but this is the shade Cool Brown. And yeah, it feels almost identical to the Kosas Brow Pop Nano. I think this is gonna be like a perfect shade match. Yeah, it definitely is. It's like exactly matches my brows. I really love these little nano brow pencils because you can really control them. Y'all, like I said in the beginning of this video, I have got so many makeup products to try. So many. And I want to get as much of it tested out for you before the Sephora sale starts so I can at least give you my 2 cents on what I think is worth looking into for the sale if you are wanting to shop the sale. So I don't know, we may have to do a part 2 of this video because I just have so many things I've gotten in PR that I want to try, but I can't try it all at once, you know? Okay, I'm loving the brow pencil, which is kind of surprising. I didn't expect this to be one of the things that I really liked, but I love the shade. It's easy to use. I think this is a winner. Okay, let's move into eyes. I am gonna start by applying a little bit of my Mario eyeshadow in Sandstone. Nothing new to see here. I've been applying this so much, it's just not even funny. But I love it. So let's blend this with this brush. This is the N24 from Nikki LaRose. And this is just a tiny, or I should say a more precise like shader style brush. You could also use this for like a shimmer shadow, would probably work really well with this shape. Anything you want to like lay down pretty intensely, a brush like this would work well for. Like I said, I have the Charlotte Instant Look in a palette, which has 3 eyeshadows in it, but since we're not using this in this video, we're gonna skip that. I have 2 different eye things here. Both were sent to me and I wanna try them both. So one is from Make Beauty. This is one of their multi-chromatic metal reflecting eyeshadows in the shade Glaze. So this is one of the things I've seen on social media from this brand for a long time that I've always been curious about. I did swatch this the other day, by the way, when it came. I like couldn't help myself. But this is what it looks like in the shade Glaze. And these are kind of like, they're very thick feeling eyeshadows. Like they're powder, but they have like a very, I don't know how else to describe it. They have a thicker metallic kind of texture to them. But look at that, y'all. That is shade Glaze. Like it is so intense. So intense, so pretty though. And then Chantecaille sent over their holiday collection. So there's 2 highlighters and 3 cream shadows. They sent one of the cream shadows, and this is the shade Maroon Glacé, I think. And this is a really beautiful bronze that looks like this. So let me swatch this for you as well. Yeah, so it's like kind of like a cooler toned taupey brown, but Looks really pretty. Ooh, yeah, that looks so nice. Okay, I really want to use this Chantecaille shadow, so we're gonna go for this. I am gonna apply a little bit, and then none of these brushes are really what I'm wanting for that. So I'm gonna grab my trusty 206 from BK Beauty, which is my favorite for liquid and cream shadows. And I'm gonna kind of buff that out. Ooh, that color is really pretty. So that shade is actually, it looks pretty deep in the bottle, but it actually kind of shears out to more of like a, just not quite as intense brown. It almost has like a little bit of a gray look on my eyes. Maybe it's what I have on underneath, like that sandstone, but it doesn't really look that bronzy, at least in my mirror. Maybe it does on camera, but that's very nice. Very, very pretty. So yeah, that was super easy to blend and pretty subtle compared to what it looks like in the bottle. Yeah, so it looks really, that's really interesting. It looks really bronzy in here, but then on the eye, I feel like it turns to kind of like a silver kind of color, a little bit more gray. So there's that. So yeah, if you apply it this way, it's very soft and diffused, as you can see. So if you wanted a lot of pigment from it, you would probably need to use a more dense brush, not something that's super fluffy like that. It's very pretty, very soft though. I expected that to be a lot deeper. If you like more of a soft, diffused shimmer shadow, you might really like this. Now, we also have this from Meg. I've got so much shimmer on my face, it's not even funny. Let's use this brush. This is the N23 from Nikki. So this is called the Mini Multi-Detailer. So it's a really small, kind of similar to the one we used a minute ago, but it's more pointed. So this is the N24, this is the N23. The N23 is smaller and it's a little bit more like pointed. This one's more rounded, but they're both that kind of shader style brush. But it's nice to have small little brushes like this sometimes because they can get in like really small areas. I'm gonna try to use this with a little bit of this eyeshadow from Make. Although I'm guessing that Make shadow is probably gonna apply the best with your finger. Yeah, I don't really like the brush with that. Let's take some on my finger and I'm gonna kind of just apply this in the very inner part of the eye. Yeah, that is so intense. Do you see that? This is just a very thick feeling powder formula. Like, look how intense that is. It's pretty, but definitely not subtle. This is like the opposite in terms of intensity level to the Chantecaille. All right, I'm gonna go into the Mario Nature palette real quick, and I'm gonna take this shade here, the kind of rosy nude color, and I'm gonna just apply a little bit of this in the crease just to kind of anchor all this shimmer just a little bit, just to kind of pull stuff together because we got a lot going on the eyes. But I didn't really have anything else that's new for the eyes that wasn't shimmery. I'm literally obsessed with that color from this palette, this shade, which is EEN5. I love it. Goes with everything. Okay, I'm gonna take the N21 now. So this is a tiny little pencil brush, which is very handy to have. And I'm gonna take that Chantecaille shadow with this brush, and I'm gonna apply a little bit of this to the lower lash line. I'm definitely concentrating it on this outer portion. I like this brush a lot. This is very, very, very handy brush to have in your collection because sometimes you just need a really tiny little pencil brush for areas like this. Okay, I just put on a little bit of my Charlotte Tilbury eye powder pencil eyeliner. Not a new product, I just have mine in my everyday makeup this month. And I'm using the N22, which is I think the only brush we haven't used from the Nikki set, and I'm just kind of going over the liner and diffusing it with this brush. So this brush is interesting. It's called the Petite Dome Blender. So it's on the smaller side, but it's it's a lot bigger actually than like the little pencil brush we just used. So it's very pointed on the tip, so it's good for like if you were trying to blend eyeliner like this. It has some movement to the bristles, so you could really kind of buff with it, and the point makes it good for liner. So that's what I'm doing with this. Like I said, this is not a new product. I just felt like doing a little bit of liner. All right, let's move into mascara. I do have a new one to try. I'm gonna curl first. The mascara that we have to try is from Sigma. Oh, that's not the mascara. That is the concealer. The mascara is from Sigma and it's the Lash Icon. I got this in PR a few weeks ago. I have not heard one single thing about this mascara. Right away, I don't love the tube is very big, like very, very big. I don't love that. I don't know why, that's just not what I prefer. But this is what the wand looks like. It's pretty standard, like a slightly curved rubber wand. So interesting. Based on how big the mascara is, I thought the brush was going to be bigger, but the brush is actually pretty small compared to some mascara brushes. All right, let's try it. It's a black mascara. It does not come in brown. Yeah, I have not heard anything about this at all. It's definitely more separating, I would say. Not a lot of volume. Okay, so there is like one pretty light coat of it. I mean, it looks nice. It's very like pretty soft looking. It's black, which I don't love, but pretty separating. I'm not like initially like, wow, I love this. Definitely not doing much in terms of volume though. I would say this is definitely more for separation and length. Doesn't look bad though. It's not super clumpy. I am using a lash serum right now. I always like to say that when I try mascaras because my lashes are in a pretty good spot right now. I'm using one from Australian Lash Therapy. I found it randomly on Amazon one day when I was on there during the last like Prime Day sale that they had, and I ordered it. It does not have prostaglandins in it, and it actually works because my lashes were not looking good a few months ago after I had my baby. It completely killed my lashes, but they are much, much better now. So I really like that lash serum. I've been using it probably about 8 weeks and it's made a really big difference. Yeah, it looks really good. I wish it was brown. I keep hoping that brands are gonna start catching on that they need to launch brown and black in mascaras. All right, so there it is. Looks pretty good, honestly. I like it more than I thought. I thought this is gonna be one of those really large fiber wands that are really big, and it's not. It's kind of similar, honestly, to like the e.l.f. Lash and Roll kind of brush, which I love e.l.f. Lash and Roll. That one comes in brown though. All right, finally for lips. I did get a PR box from Persona and they sent me one of their lip liners. This is the shade Mauve. I have tried their lip liners before. I've never tried this shade though. And it does look like a shade that I'm gonna like. So these are really creamy lip liners. That is the shade Mauve. So let's try this out. So this is a really purpley looking mauve. All right, yeah, so that looks super purple. I know mauve typically has like a purpley undertone, but that one's really, really cool toned, which is not my favorite usually for a lip liner. I like the Persona formula, but I don't know that I love that shade for me personally. So they also sent their Day Mask lip balms. They just relaunched these and they sent me 3 of them. So I have June, which is this one right here. Yeah, they changed the packaging. That's right, the packaging on these used to all be the same color, and now the outside matches the color of the lip balm, which I really like. So we've got Kiss, June, and Bubble. All right, so we've got Kiss, Bubble is in the middle, and then June right there. Yeah, Bubble barely has any color to it. I was thinking it would be pink. Looks like it has a little bit of shimmer in it if you look really closely. I think I might do June actually, because this lip is a little bit gray purple looking for me with that liner, so June will kind of warm it up a little bit. All right, let's chat about everything that we tried today, because we tried quite a bit. I want to give you my overall thoughts at this point. Starting with the primer, you know what? I don't see any difference. I really don't think this did a whole lot. When I applied it earlier, I did think that it mattified slightly, like in the T-zone, but in terms of like how that foundation is sitting on my skin, I just don't feel like it did a whole lot in terms of my pores right here. And I didn't really powder this area, so I should be able to see that if it did kind of smooth the area. I really don't feel like it did that much. Now we did apply some highlighter and some other things on my cheek also, but even before I did that, I didn't see much smoothing or blurring from the primer, and it didn't feel tacky either. So I'm probably gonna say this is a skip. I only tried it this one time, so I'll keep using it and let you know. But so far, I would say this is probably a skip. I would like to try it maybe with something that's even glowier than that Hourglass foundation, like something like the Natasha Denona foundation that's more of a serum texture. I would like to see how something like this might affect how that looks on the skin, but so far, I'm not seeing much from this. I would say it's a pass. The Hourglass foundation, this is pretty. Am I blown away by it? No. I definitely prefer the new Makeup by Mario. It has more of a natural finish, and I also prefer the texture. I'm not a huge fan of this kind of thicker, whipped feeling texture on this. I don't know why I thought it was going to be more liquidy and thin feeling. It's just a little bit different than what I had envisioned, especially for Hourglass. But it doesn't, I don't dislike how it looks, but I'm not like blown away, oh, I think this is going to be a new favorite foundation. It's pretty, but do I think you like gotta go out and try it? No. Honestly, to be honest, I'm not like blown away by really any of these products other than one, which is probably kind of surprising. But let's talk about this YSL face palette. Okay, first thing to say, is this absolutely beautiful in terms of just how it looks with the packaging? 100%. YSL kills it with the packaging. It's very luxe, it looks beautiful, all of that. But do I think this is like, oh, you've got to go out and buy this? You know what? I really don't. I really don't. Is it pretty? Yeah. Like this blush that we used, is that pretty on my skin? Yeah. But just based on using what I used today alone, I don't know that this is worth the money. This is not cheap. I want to say this is like $85. And again, it's YSL. The packaging is very nice. You do get a mirror. You get 6 different pans in here. And is it a bad product? No. But I will say I'm kind of disappointed in this highlighter right here with these shimmer flecks in it. It just doesn't feel as luxe to me as it should for the price and just based on the fact that it's YSL. So I don't know that I would run out and buy this. And obviously this is first impression. I'll keep using it. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But hopefully this is helpful for someone if you're on the fence about it. Like I said, it is a beautiful product. And if you're a collector, then, you know, maybe this would be worth it for you. But am I like blown away by it? No, I would personally probably just opt for the YSL blush that speaks to you the most. If you don't own any of the single YSL blushes, I would just buy one of those probably and buy the one that you love the most. Like I own this in a single pan, shade 44, and I love that one. But do I think the rest of these are just like absolutely necessary? No. I don't, but the packaging is beautiful. You want to know what my favorite thing from this video is? And this is kind of hilarious, but it's this brow pencil. I love this brow pencil. I love this. I love the shade. Cool brown is perfect for me. I love how tiny it is. It was creamy, but not too creamy. I really like this. I will definitely continue to use this. Oh, I just thought of the concealer. This is the other thing that I'm kind of excited about. Am I like blown away by this? No, mainly because it's a little bit light in terms of coverage for me and what I like, but I definitely think this is a nice product and I can see a lot of people out there liking this because it looks beautiful. Coverage is on the light medium side in my opinion. It's pretty hydrating and thin. It's not cakey at all. You're definitely not going to get a full coverage from it though, and I would say not even really like a full medium, but it is nice and it looks pretty on my skin. So this and the brow pencil I really like. The eye products, the Chantecaille Eyeshadow, I mean, this is very, very pretty. It does sheer out though quite a bit like you saw earlier. So if you're wanting to see like this color that you see in the bottle right here, you would really probably need to apply quite a bit of it and use a brush that's more dense, not something that's really fluffy like this. But it's pretty and it blended out beautifully. It's just a very sheer bronze, but it doesn't even look that bronze on me. It's so weird. To me, it looks kind of taupey, like a silvery kind of color. It doesn't look like it does in here on my eyes to me. And okay, this Make Shadow, this is beautiful, but this is like an intense shadow. Like, I don't know if you barely tapped your finger in it, if you would get just a little bit of that intensity or not. Because like I said, it's kind of a thicker feeling formula. So it goes on kind of thick. You get that sheen and that like really reflective quality, but it does, I mean, it's a lot. So if you're looking for like a natural kind of shimmer, that's probably not going to be this one. At least not in this color and glaze. But it is pretty, but it's just, it's not, that's not going to be like an everyday kind of product for me. The lip products, they're probably a pass for me. The lip liner, I've tried before, just not in that mauve shade. I'm not a huge fan of that. It's a little too purple looking on me, but that's personal preference. You might really like that color. The Persona lip liners are nice, but I just don't like that tone for me personally. And then the lip masks, these are nice. Nothing like super special about them though. I tried their previous formula and I felt the same way. I mean, this feels like the same formula they had before to me. So I don't know if it's just a different component or what. I mean, they do feel nice on the lips. They feel very hydrating, not super sticky, but is it anything to like write home about? No. Oh, one more thing, the Nikki brushes. Okay, y'all know I love BK Beauty brushes. I love them so much and I enjoyed these brushes. I do think there are a few that I'm going to utilize a lot more than the others. My three favorites are definitely these three. So the N19, the N20, and the N20S. I can just see these fitting into my makeup routine quite a bit. Or I also do like the N21, this tiny little pencil brush. So these four. The other four are nice. I don't know how much I'll use them, but I can definitely see myself reaching for these quite a bit. All right, y'all, I think that is everything for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. If you are interested in any of these things, I hope maybe I can help you in making some of your purchasing decisions. And that's always my hope with these videos, is that I can give you my honest opinion and as much information as I can so that you can make the best choice for you and deciding what you spend your hard-earned money on. So that is always my goal with these videos. But honestly, today I didn't find a ton that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with this. But as I was saying, I will link everything that I can for you in the description and in YouTube shopping. If you do shop through my links, I do make a commission that supports me and my channel. So thank you so much for that. If you're new, I would love for you to stick around and subscribe. We would love to have you. And if you're not already, make sure to follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1. I'm posting quite a bit over there now, so make sure to follow me there as well. And I will see you again very soon. Remember, simply be you.